Alright, so in this lesson we're going to talk about Pandora's box, or you can call it stuck in a box. Name is not important, the concept is more important. You can call it whatever you want. So typically our move is almost always stuck in a box, okay? I want you guys to focus on this box first, right? We'll just only focus on one box because we know that we have got, just like trends or cycles, we've got local, global, legacy Pandora's boxes as well, right? So I created all, this bigger box like global, or it could be another one like lower or higher uh, Pandora's box that the move could be stuck in. At the same time, the move could be stuck in several different boxes, but we're gonna focus on one box at a time. When we're looking for entries, we focus on one box at a time because when the move is stuck in between one box, it cannot uh, enter into a bigger box. I mean, technically, we'll be stuck in a bigger box, but it has to break out of this small box first, right? And then enter into a bigger box. So a typical scenario looks like this, and then we'll look at some examples as well, okay? So a typical scenario looks like this, where you have, so I'll remove this box over here. It's easier for me to draw. Okay, so typical scenario would be something like this, where the move is stuck in between whole levels, right? So let's say it actually dropped from a break, right? The move is dropping like this and then eventually found support on a whole level, right? And just going from one hold to another hold. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it will, like a move never goes just straight up like this and straight down, right? But just to make it simple, visually more pleasing, I will put it in this fashion. But we know that move is always, going like this, right? Slowly, but just to visually, it'll be a lot more pleasing, I thought, if I just put it in this fashion, okay? Just to explain the concept. So imagine it moving from one hold to another, right? Back and forth. It could be, stopping at one hold over here, going to this hold, whatever hold is over here, and stopping at this hold, But as I said, just for visual fidelity, I will just draw it um, in an ideal scenario, like for instance, like this, right? So going from one hold to another hold, right? So this is when we say that okay, something is going sideways or it's stuck in a box, right? Where the legs on both sides, they have not been touched. So it could actually be there could be a leg that could be on this side as well, right? So imagine the move going straight up from here to here, and then from there it started dropping. So we know that it actually formed a leg over here and over here, right? And then the move is stuck in between this box, going sideways for however much time. Time frames are not important. Understand the concept, and then you will be able to identify them even on daily, 4 hour, 15-minute, whatever, right? So what is happening over here? Like, in terms of cycles, think of cycles, right? Is it distributing? Is it accumulating? It's done doing none of those. It's just going sideways, right? So for it to break out of this box, it has to do something, right? It has to do something different, something interesting, right? And what is that something different, something interesting? Imagine it's just going down like this, right? So it's laddering down, so it created you know, a downtrend, right? So remember, trends, they act as fuel, they act as compression, right? So in this case, it created that trend and it's stuck over here. Now it has one or the other, like it only has two things it can do from here, right? Either it will just break this trend and go up, right? Or it will touch this break and we will say that, okay, it's technically, out of the Pandora's box because these are the legs that it cannot touch because when it touches these legs, it technically is it broke the move altogether, right? So in this case, if it touches this leg, the chances are that it will get compressed and it will just completely fall off the cliff over here. Okay, so imagine a scenario where it actually breaks out of this trend, right? And again, it never goes straight up, in a just like in this fashion, it'll just never go up like that. It has all these whole levels that it will have to deal with, right? So it'll go up there, but the point being, again, just for visual fidelity, I'll just draw it like this, for instance, right? Now, when it goes up like this, again, if it gets inversed over here and drops, still it's stuck in a box. What it has to do is, in order for it to break out of this box, it has to touch this leg, either on this side or on this side. If it doesn't do that, it's still stuck in a box, right? So the moment it actually touches this, or ideally even go above this, that's when we can say that, okay, it's out of the box. It has, broken out of one small box, a local box, or Pandora's box that has entered into a bigger Pandora's box, right? A global or legacy Pandora's box. So now, while it is going up, there's another important point um, that I want you guys to pay attention to is you see how when it was dropping over here, it was creating these valleys, just like how we saw in cycles, right? So all of these valleys, let's mark them out as break valleys. But I will put them, since we put this in red color, this one I'll put probably in, I don't know, let's just put them in blue color just to kind of differentiate them from these break valleys. So these break valleys on its way down, right? When, oops, when it actually breaks this downtrend over here, right? These valleys by themselves, they will act as whole levels as well, right? One or more than two candles, they could act as whole levels, right? So even though it was a break valley over here, but when it touches this and gains this valley, has a hard close above it, it could take a support on either one of these valleys and move up, right? If it is going to use these valleys as whole levels, like in blueprint, we refer to them as backside holds because they are the front side holds will be in the current part of the move. In this case, it will be uh, in this part of the move. Oops. Actually, how do I do this? This. And let's put it in white color. Yeah. Or whatever color I chose over there. Let's go a little bit lighter right here. Sorry. So, um, within this part, so we've got two sides now, okay? This will be considered the back side, or actually, let me use that one tool that actually helps. Um, I believe it is this tool. Let me draw that again. Not really used to drawing that or using that tool much. Okay. This is your backside, okay? Remember, these were those same break valleys that it created on the way down, okay? These are, this will be considered your backside, and the front side will be in the more current part of the move, okay? So let's put that in a different color over here like this, right? This will be your front side. Just put that in another color. So this is your front side and this is your back side. The more it takes support on the back side, it will have these huge strides, like moving up really like fast like that, okay? The more it is actually taking support on the current part of the leg, okay, which we refer to as the front side, the slower it will go up because it will have its own small Pandora's boxes and cycles it will have to break out of. But when it completely ignores or sort of ignores the front side and it kind of treats this backside as its support while it's moving up, that's when we kind of say that we're on the correct side of the Pandora's box, right? Or the right side of the Pandora's box, because then their chances are that we will break out of this Pandora's box really fast. Okay, so this is something else that we need to pay attention to. And let's look at a couple of examples to wrap up this lesson. Um, so the move was stuck in a Pandora's box. All of these, when you go something going sideways like this, like over here, you can say it's stuck in a Pandora's box. But you know what I will do? I will actually take out all of this stuff from here. Actually, put it on invisible for right now. And very locally, like up until yesterday, it was stuck in a Pandora's box. So why don't we look at this box, right? So right here, let's cut this with the replay tool right here. So you see how this is a perfect Pandora's box that it created right here. See, you have the break over here, even though it touched it. It happens sometimes. We touch that same level again. This is more butterfly effect stuff, right? Or you could just say that this is where it formed its leg, right? Either way, the most important thing is you have legs on both sides. So you have this leg, right? And then you have this leg, or you can say this leg, right? So you see how it's going sideways from hold to hold to hold to hold. It took support on this hold, found resistance in whatever hold. It could be this hold or whatever hold that is within this leg, right? And that's how it's like, so imagine when it's actually dropping, right? And if it took support, sorry, on this valley over here, and if it had moved right from this valley, it would have broken out of this Pandora's box a lot faster. But you see how it tried to take support over here, but it failed. Then it went and it touched the more front side of um, the um, the leg over here instead of the backside. Even though technically in this case it's still the the backside, like it looks like a backside, it's like in this part. But the point being, front side is usually these big valleys, and this again more butterfly effect stuff that's coming up. So be a little patient. You guys will get there. But it touched more in the deeper part of the range, and that's why it like slowly moved up and eventually did, right? So if we play the replay tool, you see how it's taking support. Like over here it took support on the backside hold. That's why it moved up instead of going back and touching the front side over here of the range, right? And that's why it actually had such a big move, right? Moved up. And then even when it came down, it took support on this and just boom, just moved up from here. Actually over here you would say, because you could say the same level was touched twice. That's fine, that happens. And here it actually, it had a big move over here by 4% or whatever, 5%, then came down and touched whatever backside hold it was over here, right? And then just shot up from there. The point being, this is the Pandora's box. And as I said, the move is always stuck in a Pandora's box. So we could find a Pandora's box on a really big time frame as well. Okay. Um, Pandora's boxes, they're quite simple. They're very important. They take a little time to understand. Once you get them, it's like, they seem so obvious. So, of course, now we're very advanced in the cycle, but imagine if when the move was over here, right? Even right now, I mean, the way it is, you can still say it's in the Pandora's box, but I just wanted to kind of show you a little bit better. So, oops. Oh, okay. So, we're stuck within this cycle, right? You can say over here, see, the whole move is stuck within, and then there are Pandora's boxes within Pandora's boxes. So that this is like the legacy Pandora's box. Actually, the legacy would probably be here, right? You could say This is your legacy Pandora's box, so top, top, bottom, right? And then you have your other very local Pandora's box. So you could say probably over here, right? And then the top over here, you could say probably over here, right? And then you have your further legacy, local or global um, Pandora's boxes, right? Which are over here. And then in this case, you could say you have another one you could, you know, put over here or even over here, right? Right there. And this could be on another smaller time frame, right? Right here, wherever you want to put it, right? Point being, it's just boxes within boxes within boxes, right? And Pandora's boxes are super important because they are the ones that actually identify to us where our best entries would be. Okay, you could put it actually over here in this case. So, and the top would be in this case over here, right? Remember, we cut the thing off with the replay tool. So in this case, this would be your very local Pandora's box on a daily time frame. And then, of course, you would have another local as well, right? You could put it over here, wherever the leg is. I think this is the leg right here because it looks like a big wick, right? So usually the big wicks are the legs. So in this case, on the top, I don't have any other point to put it because it already is like trying to touch this, right? So actually, in this case, I'll put it over here. That's fine. And then you made another leg over here, right? So box within box within box, right? So yeah, that's your Pandora's box.